If you ever look at Scarlet and Violet and ask yourself, where did Pokemon go wrong? A lot of people will point to this game. Pokemon X and Y released in 2013, and it was the first mainline Pokemon game to be in 3D, which means they had to make 3D models for all Pokemon and make it to run in the 3DS. Hence, Zack Snyder's Pokemon XY. These were the games that got me interested in Pokemon, and the only reason I wanted a 3DS in the first place. But these were the games that came out after Black and White, which are widely considered to be some of the best Pokemon games alongside Emerald and Heart Gold Soul Silver. A lot of people believe this was the first misstep to lead to the current Pokemon, and I can't blame them. So I decided to check it out, and why not try a Nuzlocke for the first time. I lost. So I guess this will be the second time. We meet Professor Sycamore, the 6th sexiest Pokemon professor who gives us the typical Pokemon spiel. We live in a world of Pokemon, they're so wonderful, they're so different, don't fuck them. Fuck it, why not? I picked the version of the game I didn't buy anyway. Start the game by being woken up by a bird. I think it's a good day to have chicken for breakfast. Oh my god, this game actually looks decent. Anyway, I change and go meet my annoying ass friends, then explain the real reason I picked Serena. They did not try to make this man look halfway decent without a hat. After I talk to the most insufferable fictional characters I've ever met and being forced to pick a nickname for myself, we get our starter. The best, the 3D model that doesn't do justice to the 2D art, and oh my god, why? I pick Fennekin because I never pick Fennekin, and he turns out to be a male, which means he'll be a male witch. I called him Edric. Anyway, we beat Shawarma here, help the professor sleep with my mom, and start our Pokemon adventure. By that I mean we get Pokeballs, and from here on out the Nuzlocke begins. This is a regular Nuzlocke, not a hardcore one, so this means the first Pokemon on the route is the only one I can catch. Everybody who faints is dead, set mode is on, and our first Pokemon is... I called it Tesla. We make our way through the forest where we catch a Caterpie. Called it Hornelius II. The first Hornelius I got in the first Nuzlocke, but you know, he's dead. I make it to Route 3, kill my Route Pokemon because I have standards, and derail to Route 22 where I catch Leonidas. Some random bitch was blocking my way to the gym, so I beat the shit out of her and take her roller skates. Anyway, I enter the gym, which is a giant spider web. After a few trainers, we make our way to Viola. Don't translate that word to Spanish. In contrast to everybody who came after her, Viola actually has some sort of a strategy here. Her Surskit has Water Sport, which lowers the power of fire-type moves, and because of that my Fennekin is left at 5 HP against her Vivian, and my Flame Charge won't one-shot, so I'm forced to sacrifice Tesla and Hornelius II. Luckily enough, Edric kills Vivian, thank you, and we get our first gym badge. Yay! After I bury what could have been a great Pokemon, and Hornelius II, I get the XP share, the most busted item in the game, and head into the tall grass to get my next Pokemon. Okay, well that's rare. Welcome to the team, Alice. Apparently it's like a 10% chance to get a female Combee in this route, so that's pretty good. I make my way through Route 4, and man, this game looks so good. Oh, Edric evolves. I better not see anybody with a low punny profile picture in the comments. I make my way to Lumio City, get greeted by some random bastards that tell me to go to the Sycamore's lab, which sounds really boring and there's no way I'm going there, so boo-hoo guys, Man, that's cool as shit. Sycamore fights us because why not, I guess. He has 3 counter starters, which means that he has at least 1 counter to your starter, if he ever bothers to use a move that's actually super effective. Anyway, after beating the shit out of him, the professor gives us a second set of starters. I'd pick Charmander no matter what if this was a regular playthrough, but since this is a Nuzlocke, and the worst version of the game, I went with Squirtle and called it Rockman. As we leave, we meet Lysander. He's just a random guy, honestly. Oh, and Diantha, the region champion. I'd kill the root Pokemon in Route 5 because I'd rather be caught beating it than actually catching this stupid ass dog. Anyway, we fight the fat guy here. He's a little challenging since most of my team is weak to water, but just like his statements of getting a gym membership, it was mostly a joke. While collecting items, Rockman evolves into Wartortle, which reminds me I'm stuck with Water Gun until 12 more levels. Who thought giving Squirtle Water Pulse at level 28 was a good idea? Oh yeah, Snorlax. I need the stupid flute. The guy with the flute needs the help with his dog. I solved the hardest puzzle of 2013. See some fireworks, and add Hector to my team. I also caught this living weed. I called it Weed Man. He's not going to be very useful. Oh yeah, make sure to grab Cut here because that's just skippable for some reason. I catch Bug Boy in Route 7 and there's a double battle alongside Calum here against Shy Guy and Fat Guy. It's kind of complicated unless you have a grass type, but ultimately I got out of there unscathed. I walk into a cave and decide that hordes don't count as first encounters, not that it matters much since I catch Clavum. In Route 8 I catch He'll be very important in the next gym. Anyway, some bastard stole some Fosso, so we have to go get it back. I kill my Route 9 encounter. By accident this time. In the cave we meet Gravestone, the Cubone. Oh, and Alice evolves, which gives me the ability to use a Vespiquen for the first time. We find the idiot that stole the Fosso, who's dressed up appropriately. Calum shows up and we fight them together. What the fuck was that animation, Calum? Be normal for 5 minutes. We get a fossil, but we can't name it for some reason, which technically means I can't use it. But who cares? Tyrant isn't that good. Unfortunately, Weedman dies on our way to the second gym. Oh no, he was so useful. Anyway, we get a bike and strength, and Edric dies to a Relicanth. Great, he's already in the thumbnail and was my strongest Pokemon. Fuck. I do have Leonidas though, so I don't lose the fire type in my team. But he was my highest level Pokemon, so that's going to be a big problem. I go back to get Rock Smash because for some reason that's also a skippable TM, don't ask me why, and go back to the gym. Gramp was one of the main reasons I lost my first run. He killed 2 of my Pokemon, so I prepared this time. Cheapo Town Hall killed the Amora, and Hector and Rockman killed the Tyrant. We've lost 4 Pokemon so far, man. You know, I hear people saying this game is easy, but who knows, maybe I'm just bad at Nuzlocking. Moving on to Route 10, I catch Princess and get depressed because I knew this place could have had an Eevee. Oh yeah, and Rockman learns the most important move in the whole run. Water Pulse. Trust me, this will be important later. In the next town, I add Gravestone to the top of the team because I need him for the next battle. And I also found the Soft Sand, which increases the power of ground type moves. You know why it's so important? Because Karina's here! And we have to battle with 2 Lucarios! Thankfully, Cubone was able to do great damage to both of them, and we were able to win the battle deathless. I catch Goku and Diamonds, evolved Gravestone, made my way through the cave, and made it to the Mega Evolution Temple, with no deaths. Man, this game looks good. We fight Calum for the Mega Ring. We win, thanks to Alice and Hector, and well, after an early game that was way too long for its own good, I made it back to where I lost my first run. Alice one-shots the Manfu with Aerial Ace. Machamp, who I know has Rock Tomb, comes in, so I switch into Gravestone, who 2-shots it with a Dig and Bone Club. Hawlucha comes, who uses Flying Press and does a shit ton of damage. I switch to Hector, thinking it's a flying type move. I mean, it is in the name. I switch to Alice, who tanks it like a champ, and I use Aerial Ace to kill it. Thank God it didn't use Wing Attack. What do you mean it doesn't have flying type moves? I go to the tower, I get the Mega Ring, we have a power-up punch battle, I win, and Vegeta joins the team. I also add Goku, evolve Rockman, and I get a taste of the gameplay loop of this game. Anyway, we unlock Surf, get a Lapras who I name Twilight, because of My Little Pony, not because of anything weird. The next route is very fun, I like the Skiddo riding. I get Fly, and I'm already at the next gym. What? We fight Calum, who has the same fucking team we fought him with like 30 minutes ago. Why? I entered the gym and have Goku at the front at the party so he can get some experience until I get to Ramos and switch him out for Alice. Unfortunately, he starts off with Jump Bluff here and does half of my HP before I can kill him with Aerial Ace. He sends out Go-Goat and I send out Vegeta and Mega Evolve. Unfortunately, the thing knows Bulldoze, which forces me to switch out to Alice. I realize that Go-Go does no damage to me, so I use Heal Order and take him out with Aerial Ace. Or Bug Bite, I don't remember. And then I one-shot his last Pokemon. Alice could have soloed that gym, which is impressive. Anyway, Leonidas evolved into Pyro, even though I've only used him accidentally in double battles. Long live the XP share, I guess. I move on to the desert where I catch Geyser Beam and get a summary of what the rest of the game's gonna be like. I kid you not. Water pulse abuse is the answer to all the problems in X and Y. One of the things I like about this section is that if you go back, the scientists you saved give you items as thanks. I thought that was a neat detail. We also see this weird guy at the desert. Anyway, the next gym's gimmick is schoolwork.
Aloha! It is I, the great Clement.
I was actually worried here. Clemon here uses electric type Pokemon. I did add Geyser Beam to the team, but he's really low level, so I start with Vegeta instead. Of course! I switch out into Leonidas, and Emolga uses Volt Switch to bring it. Are you serious right now? He didn't even use Thunderbolt here, he just uses Electric Terrain. He even wastes Hyper Potions here. This is a Nuzlocke, I shouldn't be complaining about difficulty. Leonidas almost dies to Thunderbolt, so I bring in Vegeta to kill the thing, and Hector kills the Emolga. I win, Goku evolves, and learns close combat before Vegeta does. I guess that fits the nicknames pretty well. Anyway, we talk to Sycamore for some reason and meet up with our friends in Route 14. We fight Calum, again. I catch Alakran. We're told the story of the Faceless Men, but it literally doesn't matter. Moving on, oh, it's another fucking gym. Look, Geyser Beam evolve on the way there. I enter the gym, make it to Valerie, click Water Pulse 4 times, and win. This is getting ridiculous. You know how I lost 4 Pokemon in the first 2 gyms? I lost to none in the following 4 gyms. Team Flare takes over the Pokeball factory, but I blinked and I was already at the boss. Calum did that weird thing again, and we kind of beat the shit out of them. We're given a fake choice, much like the one you're given when picking a version, and get the Master Ball. Moving on, I caught Leopard, named it Cutter, and have an existential crisis. I'm almost done with the game! So let me tell you something. X and Y has the worst pacing out of any Pokemon game I have played. A lot's been said about the Sun and Moon intro, but have you played this game up to the second gym? Between the start of the game and the first gym, it takes you like 1 hour, give or take. Between the second and third gym, it takes you like 1 hour 30. Between the first and second gym, it's 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's almost 3 hours between gyms. And you know how much it takes between the third and fourth gym? 40 minutes. You know how much it takes between the fourth and fifth gym? 40 minutes. You want to guess how it is between the fifth and sixth gym? 30 minutes! The pacing of this game is a mess. The easy as fuck difficulty doesn't help either. There was a point where I forgot I was Nuzlocking, and I skipped an encounter. That's how easy this game is. What doesn't help with the fucked up pacing either is that I'm interrupted every 30 minutes. I don't know who does it more, my annoying ass friends or the evil team, but fuck, they stop you halfway through every route for no reason. You can't do anything in this game without being called, stopped, or battled. After I beat the fourth gym, Lysander called me and said, so you have the power to wield Mega Evolution now. It is said that triggering such a transformation releases strange power. And that's it. That's all he called me for. People will stop you for no reason in this game, and it happens every single route. Moving on, I go into a cave, fight some people for some reason, make it to the next town, fight Calum again, who has a Flareon on his team. Good fucking job. We head into the gym Okay, I have to admit I've been playing Violet in the back for the first time. Even though the graphics can be better in the 3DS, just look at Sun and Moon, this game still looks great 10 years later. It is insane. I thought Olympia was going to be a double battle here because she's a double battle in the anime. I beat her with water pulse spam because she wasn't a fucking double battle. Just like I beat every single trainer in this game after I got Mega Evolution. Geyser beam evolved. Oh, give me a second, guys. Lysander's calling me. I am killing everybody who is ugly because all of you are disgusting and giving me eye cancer. Well, I guess I have to kill him. I break into Lysander's house. We fight him in the big bad Team Flare hideout. And he has unevolved Pokemon. I am 90% certain I've already fought a regular trainer with the evolved version of this Pokemon. He also has a Murkrow. His other two Pokemon are actually evolved, which only makes me question why the first two weren't. I make my way through his stupid ass lair, realize that Team Flare has like 10 Pokemon total. I'm not kidding. It's all the same, there's barely any variety. There were like 600 Pokemon at this point, and you give the evil team, the second most common trainer in the game, a variety of 10. Even the admins don't have unique Pokemon. I make my way to Lysander, and this weird guy, who lore dumps the only interesting part about this game's story. We fight Lysander's right-hand man, who has 2 Pokemon, and we activate the ultimate weapon. Yes, we. We make our way to Lysander's vacation base. Why are you crying? Pokemon. We kick Lysander's ass a second time because he still only has 4 Pokemon for some reason. I partake in the most mind-numbing water pulse abuse I have ever felt in years. And we make our way to Yveltal, the embodiment of death itself. I have to say, the arena you fight Yveltal in is fucking beautiful. Lysander fights us, again, with the same team, but with Mega Gyarados. Why did he fight us with this now instead of before we caught Jimmy is a mystery to me. The ultimate weapon commits suicide, I think. Lysander dies, we move on. The fight with Sycamore was easy. I catch Terrence the Sliggoo. We fight the rival gauntlet, which was decently hard. I go look for the final gym leader and catch one of my favorite Pokemon and name him after one of my favorite characters. I make my way through a puzzle that really isn't that hard. I don't know why people struggle with this. And right before the gym leader, I reach level 69. Nice. That makes my Blastoise the highest level Pokemon in the entire Kalos region. I haven't even beat all the gyms yet. Anyway, here's the mighty Wulfric, the final gym leader, the end of the road. The beginning of he has 3 Pokemon. The amount of Pokemon a gym leader has not changed since the 3rd gym. I win because there's nothing else you can do in this game. I make my way to the Victory Road entrance and fight the stupid ass guy. Oh my god, this game is so fucking cool. If it was an actual challenge to get here, this would feel so much more rewarding. Victory Road is alright. A decent challenge. I didn't lose any Pokemon, but I did have to use items. We have our final battle with Calum. In a very beautiful background, he still doesn't have a full team of 6. He doesn't even have a Mega Evolution. I make it to the Pokemon League. My god. This game is fucking beautiful. We enter the league, confront Malva, the Fire-type Elite Four member. The battle begins and... Even Calum had 5 Pokemon. They don't even have Megas. I destroyed the Elite Four. The only real challenge was this guy, and it wasn't really a big one. I will say the presentation is fucking fantastic. I just, again, wish there was more weight behind it. Besides water pulse abuse. We make our way to the champion chambers and... How did we fall so far from grace? Diantha is... fuck, what I expected the end of this game to be. I used 2 rare candies before fighting her, yet I was almost 20 levels above her. I will say, she at least has a team of 6 and a Mega, which is what really the entirety of the Elite Four should have, but for some reason doesn't. Her team is mostly a complete joke. I didn't use a single Pokemon that wasn't Blastoise. Gardevoir at least posed somewhat of a challenge with the high special defense, and actually did a good amount of damage with Thunderbolt. But still, to have one challenge, not even a really high one, at the end of my journey, isn't really a great thing. I win. Undeservedly, I win. I enter the Hall of Fame. Rockman, Leonidas, Hector, Jimmy, and Vegeta are commemorated in the files of the Pokemon League as champion rank Pokemon. Excuse my recording software. I never realized they were PNGs. I guess that's an accurate reflection of their character. I fight AZ besides him being completely irrelevant to the story. His Floette comes back, credits roll. I evolve Edric out of respect, and because he did more than most of the Pokemon that actually made it into the Hall of Fame. And that's it. X and Y are games I don't think are bad, but I don't think they're good either. I know I just said this game is boring and I just mostly spend it pressing A and committing water pulse abuse, but that's because I was doing a Nuzlocke and it was 10 times safer to just bring in Blastoise than bring any other Pokemon that was a lower level. This game's fun died when they changed the XP share. It is insane how overleveled my Blastoise was when he was the only one getting used, and all the other Pokemon are on the same level as the Pokemon I'm facing, except for the Pokemon League, which makes sense since there's supposed to be a challenge. I think X and Y's difficulty would actually be decently balanced if one little change was made. The entirety of your team, including the Pokemon that actually did the battle, just gets 50% XP. That's how the game's balanced. That's how the game works. All the Pokemon of my rivals are on the same level as the ones in the back of my party not doing anything, and my Blastoise is fucking levels above them. It would make 10 times more sense to just make everything 50, instead of adding the 100 to the Pokemon that participated in the battle. And again, the only ones that didn't work this way were the Elite Four, which makes sense because they're the Elite Four. They are supposed to be a challenge, not a place to commit water pulse abuse. The story is so boring. The rivals especially. I hate them so much so equally. They are so annoying. They never felt like fucking characters. And you know what? The one that felt least like a fucking character was Calum/Serena. And the reason why is because there's like 4 rivals. You have to spend time with all 4 of them. And Calum and Serena just feel like the NPC of the group. They don't say anything. They don't feel like they have a personality. They just fight you. They fight you so much their team barely changes between fights. Some Pokemon aren't even evolved, some moves don't even change. Lysander is such a boring villain. His motive is fucking, the world is ugly. I'm gonna kill everything I think is ugly. The anime and the Evolution series tries to give him something, but the only thing they can give him is generic. And considering that he's just a big pile of nothing, I'd say that's a huge feat. And I think the reason Lysander's so boring is because he wasn't meant to be the villain of the game. If you do some research, you'll realize that AZ was originally meant to be the villain of the game, and Lysander was just a puppet for him. Fuck, that might explain why we fight him at the end of the game, when he has barely anything to do in the story. You meet him 3 times before your final battle with him, and you only have a conversation with him twice. Kalos, I think, is the greatest victim of COD content. There's been a lot of talk of South Kalos. This was originally meant to be in the game and then was reassigned to DLC and then was flat out cancelled. There's a section of Kalos we'll probably never see because Legend CA just take place in Lumio City. So yeah, I guess it will officially be lost media. The post-game is alright. I didn't do the post-game because it was mainly story-driven, and as I said, this game's story isn't very interesting. I will say the post-game story is more interesting than what they put in the main story. Besides that, you can go catch Mewtwo, Zygarde. There's also the legendary birds, which you can catch. But besides that, there's just the Mega Stone Hunt. And I don't know if you've realized it, but I barely mention Megas in this game. Now, don't get me wrong, these Megas are fun and really cool designs, but ultimately, I think they just further the game's problem of being too fucking easy. Megas are a gimmick that boosts the Pokemon stats, you know, if being over-leveled wasn't even bad enough. I think they're a fun add-on. They're definitely my favorite aesthetic-wise. In terms of competitiveness, it's just a boost to the Pokemon, so despite being my favorite gimmick, I think every other gimmick, excluding Dynamax, gave more complexity to battles. But I do think this is the most aesthetically pleasing gimmick because it kind of redesigns the whole Pokemon. I don't have much to say about Megas. I like most of their designs, but that's about it. All they do is further the game's problem with the too easy to beat difficulty. And here we are at the end of the video. So this video contained a lot of complaining, but I will say X and Y can be fun as long as you don't expect a challenge. This was Pokemon's first game in 3D, so they wanted to have as much fan-favorite Pokemon usable in 3D. This includes Raichu, Butterfree, Pidgey, Pokemon that aren't really amazing, but in an easy game like this, that doesn't really matter. They wanted you to pick your favorites and have your first 3D adventure with them. They wanted you to enter the Hall of Fame in 3D for the first time with your favorite Pokemon. And that's the purpose of this game, just to do a quick run, grab your favorite mons, and blaze through the game. Now, obviously, on a replay, the flaws of this game become glaringly obvious. This is probably the worst game to do a Nuzlocke in. It's barely different from playing it normally. But I will say X and Y can be fun, as long as you know that the game is easy and don't expect a challenge. X and Y gets a 6 out of 10.